Bird here. Kia ora guys, Bird here. Welcome to episode 34 of Thaumcraft for Addons. Once again starting over here on the Node Workshop, but today is a bit more of a special episode. You can see I've already set something up here. I'm not sure if I've done one of these advanced nodes in a jar on camera. Let's just quickly take a look in the Thaumic and how those things work. They're added by Automagy, so if we come down to the Automagy tab, this thingy over here, I really love this thing. It basically makes it so that there is absolutely no loss in the brightness, I guess, of your node, which is really nice. I've pretty much used this ever since unlocking it for whenever I want to trap my nodes. Anyway, the reason that we have that set up around there is because if we take our scan Stanitron out, this thing is pretty crazy. I guess what we can actually do, probably a little bit easier, put our armor on. I left a hole here so that we can take a look. Everything is now up at well past 100 Vs in there, which is pretty sweet. It's taken a while for us to get to this point. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put a video out yesterday because I was waiting on these Ire and Aqua actually to get up past 100. But they've finally done that now. So what we need to do is go ahead and bottle this guy up and get him out of the Node Workshop. That should be all you have to do. Yep, I already watered those guys. That is pretty crazy. So that is a bright node trapped in the jar. Very cool. Oh my days. That is by far the biggest node that I have ever seen inside of this game. This is where I store all my normal nodes. I've got these mono-aspected nodes up here. And then I've got sort of a second one of them. I've got some other spare pures right here. And the rest of these are pretty much junky nodes that sort of need to be destroyed. Or, you know, sapped like these guys have been. So I've prepared an area over on this side of the base so that we can put down our node thingy. I unfortunately ran out of amber, so we've got some stone right here where the amber is supposed to be and dirt right there. What I need to do is get the stabilizer going on the transducer. Man, that is awesome. Go ahead and get that guy out of the jar. That is now this dude's permanent home. Pretty awesome. I believe I have the recipe right here, and we don't need to run up to our crafting table. All we have to do is hit the V key, and we get the crafting focus stuck on our wand for us, which is pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and take that there. I'm just trying to remember the recipe off the top of my head. I believe it is like this. I looked it up, and you get 4 blocks of redstone as well, and there it is. And also pretty expensive on the V's there as well, but hopefully we'll be able to sort that problem out in just a very short second here. I tried to take it out, because that's what I typically do. So that's the transducer. Let's just put some blocks down and so jump up into the air. Let's see if we can get that ponked on top of here. Well, there we go. And we're going to need a lever or some kind of redstone device for that as well. So we will have to head up to the redstone chest for that. I can't wirelessly access my inventory, or at least not yet, according to what I may have or may not have seen. Anyway, redstone. Lever, go ahead and grab one of those, and we can probably actually, I'll actually just keep these guys on until we're on to the new energy system. This thing is like almost larger than the actual bubble that's made by the stabilizer. Pretty sweet. We're going to pump this label on like that, and jobs are good in. So that's going to go out, and that's going to drain the vase that's in there for a little bit. And let's see. Yeah, that's going to go all the way down to 0. I think I'm going to come back, guys, once this turns into an energized node. So we'll be right back. Well, that did not take very long at all. Oh, man. And just as I was thinking, yeah, so basically when you energize your nodes, as it turns out, there's actually a little bit of a, there's supposed to be a bonus that is applied whenever you make the node up, basically. I believe for bright nodes it is plus 20% when you energize it, and I think for if you've got a fading node or a pale node, it's probably a minus value, and then for normal it's probably at no modifier whatsoever. So even though we only had something like 100, just a little over 100 aqua in there, that 20% bonus put it up over, or probably almost very close, probably over 121, which is, of course, if the square root of that is 11, So now we've got 11 centivis of each of the lowest, and then we've actually got 12 of terra and peridotio inside this node, so that is pretty cool. The first thing that I'd like to build with this is actually a dedicated line up here to the Advanced Alchemical Furnace. This is the main reason that we actually I went to all the trouble to make this node, so that we can actually use this Advanced Alchemical Furnace that's been sitting here for quite some time, very patiently waiting to be used. I kind of propped my normal alchemical furnace on top of it for the interim, but we'll be able to tear that down hopefully in a little bit, I think. So let's get started with that. I've got a bunch of Vis relays in here, one of the things that's just really nice to carry around. Where exactly do I want to go with this? Maybe I want to, like, yeah, kind of branch out a little bit. Let's see if I break out some blocks. Alright, there it is. We've got ourselves our new node up here. I'm not sure if I'm going to time-lapse this or something, but I think I'm probably going to end up time-lapsing that a little bit. Here it is. We've got this dedicated line of what appears to just be Ignis going into the Advanced Alchemical Furnace here at the moment, and we're not seeing any indications that it's having any kind of effect. I do have my graphics on fast at the moment. Perhaps if I crank those up to fancy, which will decrease the frame rate a little bit, by the way, but that doesn't seem to have done anything right here. These things have always been a little bit glitchy. I've noticed that they don't seem to, like, the shadows and lighting doesn't seem to work properly on them. But that's that first dedicated line out of the way. Hopefully, what I've heard is that basically the Advanced Alchemical Furnace sort of needs a constant supply of Ignis for it to sort of maintain its heat, so I'm thinking that maybe it's going to take a while for the heat to actually build up. Alright then, so now what we're going to do is basically kind of do the same thing. Oh, hello, Zombatron. Taste Cursed Spirit's Blade, my friend. Now what we want to do is pretty much wire the Vis relays from here all the way up to, probably a good way to do that would be to over here. Now the cool thing about having this one line will be that we don't need any of this McGubbins over here, we don't need any of that redstone or the pistons, we don't even need two lines for all this. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and probably do this bit off camera, because that's going to take a little bit longer to do. So we'll be right back with that. Okay, does that work? Let's find out together, you and me viewers. Welcome back, by the way. I did decide to time-lapse the second bit. Perhaps if I throw that on there, that is now gonna work. I guess we've got to throw it over here. I wanted to do it close to the table so that it would, you know, so that when I'm walking by here I wouldn't like fall down the hole, because I would actually like this to be a permanent fixture. Alright, let's see if that helped. That might not do the trick. Can you really not see that guy? Replace it again? No. Okay. Man, it can actually see that on those two guys for some reason, but not here. Don't know what's up with that. Let's see if we can do a little more fiddling. These things are always so fiddly. I've said that like 5 times. I really do mean it. There we go. Maybe it wasn't fiddly. Maybe it just literally couldn't see that somehow. Well, there we go. We've got the new bright node hooked up to this thing. Let's go ahead and throw this in and see how quickly it charges up. Oh man, that is probably a little bit quicker. That's kinda jarring. Oh man. It's kinda jarring all over the show, but yeah, let's see if we can get focused on something a little more. If we do that's a little better. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20... I was looking at Aya there. Oh my gosh, that is way faster. That is going to save a heap of time when it comes to crafting. This is a pretty awesome node that we've managed to generate here inside of the base, guys. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. We'll go ahead and I'll bring this back into the old invo for now. Actually, just put the scepter back, please, man. My inventory is a mess after all of that, big Addons. Well, that's gonna happen. Looks like I've got relays on both my 5 and my 8 key. Oh, hello. Looks like we've got the flames in here now, so this is probably all good to go. Perhaps we could finish the episode off by trying this thing out, actually. Would be kind of cool. Let's see what we have to do to actually get it to work. It's been so long, I've actually forgotten all about it. It's this guy over here. So you get these cool blocks, the Advanced Alchemical Constructs. They look amazing. So what does this say? Alchemical Furnace. Let's see if I want to read about it. Heat generated by energized instead of relying on heat alone. Periditio breaks it down, and aqua running smoothly. Okay, so you need to have a node supplying all that stuff, basically, which we now have, which is cool. So it requires a considerable amount of heat to function. It requires a constant supply. And let's have a look down here, because I just saw just before. Yeah, it looks like it's using these constantly, but it looks like our big node here is actually able to keep up with the demand of the Advanced Alchemical Furnace here, which is very cool. So that's good. It's big enough, basically, to keep this thing flowing. What else is it saying? Periditio, been used during smelting. Okay. That seems to be pretty much it. It doesn't actually tell you about how it works. It doesn't have a UI, I don't think. No, I just tried to right-click and put some relays on it. Now you can't right-click it. Perhaps it's something to do with these thingies on the side. No, okay. Okay, maybe if I can try and get rid of that. Oh! Hello? I've got little bubbles coming out here. What did I lose? I kept my aluminum, but something went in there. It must have been the actual alchemical furnace. Okay. So what, you throw things in the top then, by the look of it then. Okay, let's get some... I guess like I can just try and clear this out a little more. There we go. Okay, so how does the essentia come out of this thing? Okay, these are bubbling now, and maybe that sort of says to me that they probably have stuff inside them. They've changed colour. There's like purple right there, and then it's kind of grey up here. It used to be black. We've got these little ports on the bottom here. Maybe that's what we need. Do I have any essentia tubing? I do actually, in my bottomless pouch. Do I have a few jars? I do as well. Yeah, always nice to carry this stuff around. So let's get some jars down and see what happens here. If I get this here... Is that connecting to that? It is not. Oh, oh, it is. Okay. 7, so that's up to 9 of that now. Okay, so that's probably all the terra that was inside there. Pick that up. Yep. Oh, okay, I'm out of inventory space. That's what a bottomless pouch is for. Just go ahead and put all this useless junk in there. Even that. Useless junk. Oh man, yeah, the inventory really filled up with crap we don't need. Holy cow. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do is put that down. So it seems like it's just a random dice roll about what ends up going in there if I had to guess. Get a bit of magic. Okay, a bit of metallum. I assume that all of this is actually inside of an alchemical furnace. Do I have any others around just to quickly check what they have? Yeah, I think I do actually. I can see one over there. What has that got? Okay, 15 metallum. Yeah, so far that seems to have been above board, I think. We've got a whole heap of stuff going on in there. That was pretty expensive. I don't think you could have melted one of those down in a normal alchemical furnace. So that's 15 metallum, yeah, so that seems to... It gives out the essentia out of these ports here, but it doesn't seem to make any kind of visual connection. No. Pay attention to how many times I press that. Let's get some more jars down. It seems to just do it randomly from what I can tell. It's not like with this dude where you can put down some alembics and be like, okay, I want you to like dispense what I want you to dispense, please. Maybe if I put this here, will that connect? No, it's not going to come out of there. Okay. This is kind of interesting then, because it seems to be random. The essentia that comes out is what my first impression here. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of that. I like to control the system that I want. You know, like send Iris down or whatever. Speaking of that, yeah, Spiritus is actually open at the moment. I just remember that. Like Fabrico, pop that out of there. I'm not sure if I like this system. The only real way I could think that you would solve this is by having basically what you would want to do at this point. So what I'm thinking of doing is kind of working around that a little bit. You'd need to have some kind of like filter bank where you would like send essentia down basically underneath the ground, and then you'd have a bunch of filtered pipes. So you'd have like an array of filtered pipes, or you know, you have your essentia tube, filtered pipes, essentia tubes, and then one more essentia tube going through, so that only the essentia that you want could go through. And so those filter banks, there's only 4 of these slots, so you'd want to have, you know, the 12 that are for each of these. So you'd need to have a 12, that'd be like a 4x4 bank of stuff, and then obviously that pipe would need to come in here. Now the downside with that is that you'd only be able to send one of each of these at a time, and there are several aspects that have, you know, multiples from the same area in them. I mean, even take something like the alchemical furnace that had Fabrico and Terra, you see what I mean? So basically they get gummed up in the system. It seems like a cool idea on paper. Have the Advanced Alchemical Furnace, it works a heck of a lot faster, supposedly. Could we make it work? Is it something that can be made working? Can be made done good? Maybe, but it doesn't really work with the essentia system that we have. Maybe it's time to pull this guy down and think of a new way to store essentia. Let me me know what you guys think about that idea, possibly tearing this guy down. Man, that would really suck because there was a lot of resources invested here. A lot of time and a lot of love. But if it needs to come down so that we can use the Advanced Alchemical Furnace, perhaps that could be a thing. You guys will have to let me know about that. That appears to be all the essentia that was stuck in there. So now I want to test it out with something else. Have I got things to just burn away? Yes, we've got that guy, which has 2 terra inside it. How fast is it exactly? If I get down another jar, throw in a stack, let's see how fast it can get rid of it all. So if I throw in a stack of stone, that'll make 2 stacks of terra. Okay, it's not... It didn't just immediately eat everything, I'm noticing. Okay, what happened there? We've got a conflict in the suction, so perhaps if I get rid of that, there we go. Okay, so that sort of stopped. So it didn't actually consume all of the stacks instantaneously. Right, the fact that there's no suction right there is also something to keep in mind. Typed and untyped suction kind of messing with each other. And then that can go over there. All the suctions are the same and it goes over. So yeah, this thing, it's definitely interesting. I just don't know how practical it is for me. Now also, perhaps I've built it too high off the ground here. Maybe it sort of needs to be embedded in the ground a little bit so that you can get on top of it without having to do a super jump. I don't know. Yeah, that's the Advanced Alchemical Furnace in a nutshell here. I'm going to have to learn how to use this thing properly. It appears to be keeping up with the Essentia usage just fine. This guy is pretty fantastic. New giant node to power the base. Hopefully these Vis relay visual glitches will finally get sorted out as well now that we have fewer actual Vis relays clogging up the system. Anyway guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. We got some new stuff done. Thank you very much for watching. Kia kaha, and I'll see you in the next episode.